Yeah, we're going to save the rest of our news stories until the end of the show, but we do have a very special guest on the line. Like I had mentioned, you can see her most weeks on Collider Heroes and also on Geek History Lesson. We have Ashley V. Robinson on the line. Ashley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. How are you guys?
We're great. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Oh, that's a hard question. I am a Canadian woman. I live in the United States now. I live in Los Angeles, California. I am the head editor for Top Cow Productions, which is part of the Image Comics branch, one of the largest independent publishers of comics in the world. I am a host. You can see me on Major Spoilers, Jawin, Collider. I've worked with comicbook.com in the past. I'm an actor, and if you've seen me, probably seen me in an Intel commercial alongside Jim Parsons.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, jack of all trades there. Very cool.
I'm not going to look a paycheck in the face.
Nothing wrong with that. So how did you first get started in the entertainment industry?
So when I turned, that's kind of a tough question, right? Because there's like a bunch of different marks of like how far into the entertainment industry you are. When I turned 12, I saw the Fellowship of the Ring, and I decided that that was clearly an excellent career path that would be completely easy and achievable. And I was living in Stratford, Ontario, Canada at the time, which has the largest professional Shakespeare festival outside of London and a ton of great local theaters. So when I decided that I wanted to be an actor, my parents were like, great, like, go be an actor, good luck. And the high school that I went to was a performing arts magnet. So I was exposed to a lot of really great live theater in my formative years. And when I decided to do that, the first Shakespeare I did was Hamlet, which is amazing because it is, in my opinion, inarguably the greatest thing ever written in the English language. And it makes everything you're going to do after that so much more achievable and so easy to understand. And then I moved to Los Angeles in 2010 to attend the American Musical and Dramatic Academy College and Conservatory of the Performing Arts, which is right in the heart of Hollywood. And the cool thing about that school is that they have a campus in New York City as well. So I got to go and live and work in New York City. And then I graduated from there in 2012 and have been working in LA ever since.
Cool.
Although last year, if you look at my taxes, would be the first year that I made more money acting and writing than anything else. So I don't know. It depends on what your marker of success is, I suppose.
Right. Yeah. Out of everything that you're currently doing right now, what would you say is your favorite thing?
Oh, that's so tough.
Or you can name a couple if you'd like.
Is like I beg your pardon?
I said you can name a couple if you'd like to.
Okay. Geek History Lesson is my pet project that I do with Jason Inman. And so because it's the thing that we started and we've been working on for some time, and I would say we get the most support from, like, that's my baby. But Collider Heroes is such a blast. I get to do that weekly, bi-weekly, and I don't have to be in charge of that, which is great. I don't have to make show notes. I don't have to plan it. I just have to show up and have an amazing time. And everyone on that show is really, really amazing and supportive. And then, yeah, those are probably like my two favorites if I have to pick between my creative children.
That's like the best kind of job to have, to not prep and just show up and just, use your nerd knowledge to just, carry the show,
Oh God, it's the dream.
That's kind of like what Bill does every week.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I did. I just went out, got drunk last night, had a hangover, came in today, and just was like, "What are we talking about? All right, let's go."
Yeah, totally.
So just to let our listeners know, the way that you and I first got in contact, we did have Robert Meyer Burnett, who's one of your co-hosts on Collider Heroes most weeks. We had him on the show, and he was going on about the way that the social community kind of interacts with you guys, and how shitty some of them can be towards some of you guys. And he mentioned you specifically, that some people had been saying some not so nice things, so I had contacted you and wanted to get you on. We kind of had a little bit of an awkward first contact. I think the way that you took my my tweet was a little bit out of context, the way that it was written, but we had been communicating, and definitely getting you excited to come on, which is really nice. So what would you say about how you've been talked to or talked about or interacted with some of the people, like on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube?
Well, I will say that the awkwardness was all me, because I do get my hackles up, because I do get a lot of not so nice people online. I think that it is my responsibility as a sort of a public figure to talk about the things that I think are important outside of entertainment as well, given opportunities that are presented. And I feel like as a female, it's my duty to speak about female issues. And as a white person, I feel like since I get more spotlight, fairly or unfairly, than perhaps some other minorities, that if I can bring light or knowledge to something like a whitewashed casting, then that's important to me. And so I really incorporate a lot of that in what I speak about. We were talking recently about the casting of Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell, and I said, because the trailer dropped, and I said, I don't know if I can go and see that movie. I don't know if I can financially support that movie because they whitewashed the character. And then everyone comes back with saying, oh, but the creator okayed it. And that's true, and that's valid, and if that makes people happy, that's totally great, and they can go with that. I would argue that a big paycheck came along with making him feeling okay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I'm not knocking him for accepting that. Like, that's great. Like I said, I'll do a paycheck is a paycheck. So, like, take the money and run for sure. And so I was like, it's going to be a beautiful movie. It's going to be well made, but I don't know if personally I'm going to go see it. I didn't say, F Scarlett Johansson, F the director, F the creator of Ghost in the Shell, F anyone who's going to go see it. I just said that I felt difficult about it. Somebody came on into the comment section and called me a bigot against white people. And just for the record, I am white people, so there's that. And then I recently, my movie trivia Schmodown aired and I lost, and somebody suggested that if I filleted somebody else at Collider, I would have stuck less during that round. I get a lot of people who will come at me for my politics, which I think is super funny, so I'm very upfront about it. And I'm from Canada, so I'm more lefty liberal, right, by definition, than a lot of Americans are. But I'm a big fan of the mute button, because then they can just keep tweeting at me into the void, and they don't know that I don't see it.
Right.
But I think that I get a lot more hate than maybe some of the other people on Collider Heroes, because the shows that I'm on, I'm often the only girl. Amy Dallin and I will be on there occasionally at the same time, but not always.
Yeah.
And I think I'm an easier, less scary person to attack than John Schnepp, Jason Inman, John Campia, Robert Meyer Burnett, who are they're tall, they're sizable dudes.
Right.
And someone made a comment once and they said, oh, you always talk about diversity, but Collider Heroes is an all-white panel, so why don't you step down and let a person of color on? And I was like, well, first of all, it's not my decision. And second of all, thank you for coming after the one female instead of the three white guys who are also on the panel. Not that I want any of them to lose their jobs. They're all fabulous. So I think a lot of times I'm the easy target. I think Collider, very fortunately, has a lot more really great fans than terrible mean fans. But, man, the mean ones really scream loud sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is unfortunate. If you go on the any of the Facebook groups or on Twitter for the different shows, just seeing some of the hateful, awful things that some people say to you guys and even other people that are in the groups is really disheartening. I mean, we're all there for a reason, because we're fans of you guys, we're fans of movies, and we're here to be a part of the same community. So when we get all that hatred flying around, it really it takes you aback a little bit and kind of leaves you disgusted.
Right, and the nerd community, we like to talk about how downtrodden we are and how it was so hard when we were in high school, so hard when we were in elementary school, so hard growing up, whatever. And so I think it's interesting that sometimes there is a contingent of that populace that wants to do to other people who they view as unworthy what was done to them, instead of just embracing each other. And I'm guilty of it too, because we all judge everybody else. But I think there's a difference between like what you think and even what you say to your friends versus what you say publicly, and then like seeking someone out to attack them. It's problematic. And I know that you guys must get that with this show, because you're putting thoughts and opinions out there, and how dare you have a point of view?
Yeah, right. Well, luckily, because we have so many viewers and listeners, we we haven't gotten too much of that yet. But no, I'm just kidding. We're pretty small so far.
Well,
still.
I just keep telling myself I'm right all the time. So either way, it's a win.
Man.
I mean,
Ignorance is bliss, dude.
What did George say on Seinfeld? It's not a lie if you believe it.
Right.
It's true. RuPaul has this really great saying that it's what other people think of me is none of my effing business, and I try to remind myself that I should be like a giant black drag queen in my life, just not care what anyone thinks of me.
I'm gonna use that mantra too now.
Yeah.
So you are actually our first female guest that we've had on, which we're very excited about. I know you were just alluding to it. Yeah.
Yes.
You're just alluding to a little bit about, what it's like being a female in the industry. So kind of take us through, maybe not so much like some of the backlash that you've gotten for different things, but like from a female perspective with, like things like the Ghostbusters reboot with all female cast, or Ocean's 8, or different things like that. Take us through your viewpoint as a female on different things like that.
That's interesting. I'm sort of of two minds with stuff like that. I'm all about like more ladies all the time. I can't wait for Robin to be a girl. Not Lisa Witch, because I want to play her. But I also think that it's great to have more female inclusion, because there are plenty of women. And if you don't think that, you're wrong. Sorry, that's the one time when your opinion is actually incorrect. But I wish that there were more content that was better curated for women, instead of just the frankly stunt casting of being like, oh, this is the thing you liked with a bunch of dudes, like let's make it all ladies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what bothers me too. Like I don't know why there can't be originally created content specifically for like an all-female cast, instead of like with Ghostbusters. Like, why do we need to take a pre-existing property to reboot it specifically for that female angle? I mean, there's so many different things that they could be doing instead of something like that, and I feel like it's more of a gimmick and a money grab than anything.
It is completely. I mean, if it's not a move that betters the story, but you're just doing it to grab attention, whether that's monetary or in the press, like it's stunt casting. It's the same thing with Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm, and he was a great Johnny Storm. He's like one of the good things about those movies.
Maybe the only
movie. And I like the Ghostbusters movie. Like, I laughed. I had a great time. And I don't think it's necessarily that those projects need to go away. I just think, you could have like half of your slate be a female-led movie that's not a romantic comedy, or, oh no, I'm middle-aged, what am I going to do with myself? Like, that would be great. And again, it's not that those types of movies need to go away either, but those are like traditionally the kind of movies that women get to lead. Something like Arrival, which is a male-heavy cast, is a great step in the right direction, because she is the most intelligent person there. She solves the riddle. She saves the day. I'm trying to not spoil it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I definitely want to, though.
Oh, it's so good. Like having Amy Adams in the lead of that movie is great. And then we can take the step toward putting someone like Michelle Yeoh as the lead in that movie, instead of the secondary starship captain in Discovery.
Yeah, we had a big Star Trek conversation with Robert Meyer Burnett last week.
I can only imagine.
We were also talking about, you mentioned that you were on the Schmodown this past week. You didn't fare too well. But
I did not.
No, unfortunately, I was pulling for you. But take us through what it was like as a first timer on that show, and kind of like, did the lights get to you a little bit? Did the moment become a little too big, or like, how were you feeling going into it?
I was actually feeling pretty good going into it. I did a lot of practice with like movie trivia apps and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna kill my. I didn't go out and watch a bunch of movies I'd never seen before. I pulled a bunch of really bad categories for me personally. Like I've been doing enough events, or I've been doing enough showdowns live, and I think I've seen all of them now. It's a lot of it is luck, and I think people don't understand that. And if you pull a category that you don't know anything about, you're not going to do very well.
Sure.
If I had pulled like Lord of the Rings, like fantasy is a real good wheelhouse for me. Disney and Pixar is a good wheelhouse for me. 1940s movies with Cary Grant is a good wheelhouse for me. I just pulled a bunch of stuff that I'd never seen before, and so I didn't do great. And Kalinowski, who's a great guy, he pulled a lot of stuff that he knew, and he won deservedly. It's nerve-wracking when you're up there. I mean, it's not like freeze up and have a panic attack, but you do anything for the first time, and you want to do well. And when you come in on the heels of a bunch of competitors who, even though Christian's moderating, Christian's the king. So it's hard to step up there and be like, I'm going to do what Harloff did.
Right.
So I was kind of going more for I'm going to do what McCouga did, and it kind of half worked out for
guess
me.
Your way through everything?
Oh, gosh, here's that. But I had a blast. Everyone who works at Collider is amazing. And I was bummed that I lost. I didn't think that I deserved to die until people started watching it and commenting. But I'd go do it again, no problem.
Now, a couple weeks ago, my partner Bill and I here, we did our own little trivia game, and then the loser of the matchup got punished. Bill had to put this really, really ridiculously hot sauce on some pizza and eat it, and he had a little bit of trouble with that. Do you guys do any little prop bets or side bets for the winners and losers, like any kind of punishments or anything like that behind the scenes?
I don't.
No.
But I think I don't know for sure, but I think that some of the guys do that. I feel like that's something that John Rosa would be into.
Right.
And maybe he'll just yell at Scott a little bit more.
Or he'll just talk a lot of trash online.
Yeah. But I'm pretty new, so I'm not ingrained in the Schmodown culture yet.
Right. All right. Well, we do have you for just another minute or so. What's your favorite movie, Ashley?
My favorite movie of all time is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, the extended edition. And I also really love His Girl Friday from 1939.
Is that what got you into the geekdom world, Lord of the Rings?
Oh, no. I mean, that was a big one, but I've been reading comics since I was a tiny child. I read Babar and Tintin in French growing up. My mom's family's French. Okay. And I read Archie comics, so I feel like it was probably comic books.
Are you also a big hockey fan?
All I know about hockey is that we cheer for the Leafs. We don't cheer for anyone else. It was my dad's team.
Gotcha. Well, what would you say right now as far as all the content that's out there? What really pulls you in when you're turning on the TV or the movies and stuff like right now, or comic books? What's really up your alley right now?
Period dramas are really up my alley right now. I just started watching Poldark, which is Aidan Turner's TV show. He was Keeley in the Hobbit trilogy, and then I just finished The Crown, which I went to because Matt Smith is my favorite doctor, and that's streaming live on Netflix.
I was interested in checking that out. How is that?
It's really good. I think it's kind of a slow start, but then it really finds its legs. It doesn't end because it was already optioned for a second season, so it just sort of stopped, which I think is sort of unfortunate. But John Lithgow is in it, and he plays Winston Churchill.
Oh, cool.
And if for no other reason, you should watch it for him.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, we just signed up for Netflix like last week, so and I saw that pop up. I was
You just
interested in checking it.
signed up.
I just signed up.
Signed
I'm
up.
Welcome
getting,
to the future.
yeah, I'm getting on the ball here.
Welcome to the future as you know it.
I mean, I had it years ago, and it was just like DVD in the mail. But
Yeah.
And the streaming, it would buffer forever.
Yeah.
Did you just get
Nightmare.
America Online also, Sean?
yeah, they sent me floppy disks with like
Nice.
30 free hours on
Nice.
it, and I have a big stack of them. So
But the big floppy disks, right?
Yeah.
Not the little
yeah,
ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
not the 3.5 inch.
He got it at Blockbuster Video also while checking out.
I went to CompUSA before that too. All right, Ashley. Before we let you go, what are you currently working on that you would like us to get out there for everybody?
Oh man, so Geek History Lesson every Tuesday. This week's episode coming up is the history of the Sith.
Ooh.
Christian Harloff is our guest. You can find that where all fine podcasts are located. If you're a comics person, Jason Inman and I co-wrote a story in the DC IDW Love is Love anthology. You can pick that up on December 21st. All of the proceeds from that go to support victims and survivors of the Pulse nightclub shooting that happened in Florida. I would highly recommend picking it up. It's a great book. Our involvement in that aside, Collider Heroes every week on the Collider YouTube channel. And then I would say watch in 2017 if I have a bunch of comics projects that I can't responsibly talk about coming out then.
All right, yeah, that sounds great. Definitely send us links to all that stuff, and we'll make sure we put that out there for you.
I'll do it right now.
All righty, sounds good. Ashley, we just wanted to thank you so much for calling in. You were an awesome guest to speak to.
Thanks, Ashley, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me and for not assuming that I was a meanie from Twitter.
No, definitely not. If you ever find yourself in the Philadelphia area, definitely get in contact with us, and we'd love to show you around the city sometime.
I completely will.
All righty. Ashley V. Robinson, everybody, thank you so much.
Take care,
Thanks,
Ashley.
man.